Okay. yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari Gopi janavallabha girivardhari Jai Gopi janavallabha girivardhari Yasodanandana Bhajajananjanaya Yasodanandana Bhajajananjanaya Yamunatira hevan Yamuna Tira Hevan Yamuna Tira yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari Gopi janavallabha girivardhari Gopi janavallabha girivardhari Yasodanandana Bhajajananjanaya Yasodanandana Bhajajananjanaya Yamunatira hevan Yamuna Yamuna Tira Havana Yaharim yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari yasyāhaṁ madhava kunja vihari kunja vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Bolo. Hey. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hey Rama Ram, Anithai Gaur Hari Bham, Hari Bham, Hari Bham, Gaur Hari Bham. Hey Hari Bham. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, the appearance of Lord Varaha, and this is text number 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sṛjato me kṣitir vārbhiḥ, plāvyamānā rasāṁ gatā, athātra kim anuṣṭheyam, asmābhiḥ sarga-yojitaiḥ, yasyāhaṁ hṛdayād āsaṁ, vidadhātu me, sṛjato me kṣitir vārbhiḥ, plāvyamānā rasāṁ gatā, athātra kim anuṣṭheyam, asmābhiḥ sarga-yojitaiḥ, yasyāhaṁ hṛdayād āsaṁ, vidadhātu me. Chant. Ladies? Sṛjata, while engaged in creation, may, of me, kṣitir, the earth, vārbhiḥ, by the water, plāvyamānā, being inundated, rasāṁ, depths of water, gatā, gone, down, atha, therefore, atra, in this matter, kim, what, anuṣṭheyam, is right to be attempted, asmābhiḥ, by us, sarga, creation, yojitaiḥ, engaged in, yasya, the one from whose, aham, I, hṛdayāt, from the heart, āsaṁ, born, sa, he, īśaḥ, the Lord, vidadhātu, may direct, me, unto me. Lord Brahma thought, while have been engaged in the process of creation, the earth has been inundated by a deluge and has gone down into the depths of the ocean. What can we do who are engaged in this matter of creation? It is best to let the Almighty Lord direct us. Very, very short purport. The devotees of the Lord, who are confidential servitors, are sometimes perplexed in the discharge of their respective duties, but they are never discouraged. They have full faith in the Lord, and He pays the way for the smooth progress of a devotee's duty. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gina Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavadi Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bebacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Brahma has a big job. He has to manifest the next creation after the interim period where there is everything is merged into the body of the Lord for very lengthy time, billions and billions of millenniums. But here now he's engaged in his service, but he sees something that is causing him to get bewildered. The Earth planet has fallen out of its orbit and it's gone all the way down into the ocean, Garbhodak Ocean. And so he's stuck. What to do? Question would be, if we were in not exactly the same situation, but something similar, where we're, Prabhupada makes that point, bewildered or not sure how to proceed in our execution of devotional service. The devotees, that's what it means to be a devotee, is to have full faith in the Lord. If you don't have full faith in the Lord, you still have to work on becoming a devotee, because without full faith in the Lord, there's no question of executing devotional service. Because the whole process of devotional service depends on the mercy of the Lord in the ability that is needed, the ingredients that is required, the situation that is favorable. Everything has to be given to us in order for something to manifest that is offerable or is pleasing to the Lord. So, although everything depends on the Lord, the devotee has to act like it depends on him. But he knows it's not. It's like almost like a contrary thought. You have to work like everything depends on you. You have to try your best, use your intelligence, and plan everything out nicely when you have a particular service you have to execute, at least to a certain degree. And you have to try to make it happen by your efforts. It's not like Krishna was on the chariot and Arjuna was there, and Arjuna was giving so many reasons why he couldn't fight. And Prabhupada talks about that in another way. He says that Arjuna could think, why should I fight? You're here. I mean, you are the supreme power of all powers, and it's simply by your glance, everything becomes, successful. But although Krishna was there, Arjuna had to make an effort, and he had to fight to his capacity. As Krishna told him, fight for the sake of fighting, never consider happiness and distress, honor or dishonor, victory or loss, fight for me. So he had to make that effort, but in the background, Krishna's there. Prabhupada also said that about himself when he would be preaching. He said, I can speak very strongly and without any hesitation or any doubt, because I know in the background there's Krishna. That is an indication of one who completely depends on Krishna. So to come to that platform of becoming fully surrendered onto the mercy of the Lord is the process of bhakti. It's not something that you simply do, it's something you cultivate. It's a process of remembering the Lord in each and every situation. As Prabhupada would also say, and this is a very interesting statement he made, kind of like completes everything. He said, if you remember, he said, when you remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, you will never be impeded in the execution of your devotional service. Think about that. That's powerful. That's powerful in the sense that simply by remembering, I mean seriously remembering, not just like in and out, but remembering the lotus feet of the Lord in the execution of devotional service, you're guaranteed to be able to execute your service In other words, there won't be any doubt, there won't be any hesitation. Here, Brahma's a little confused. I mean, he's got a big service. He has to manifest the next creation, and now he sees part of his creation is not even working properly. The earth has fallen into the Garbhodak ocean. Of course, there's a reason why. There was a powerful demon who was exploiting the earth, and he had taken all of the gold out of the earth, and therefore the earth had lost its balance in its orbit and was no longer able to maintain its status within the orbit. And so Brahma's thinking what to do. And you see, as it goes on, he contemplates, and he's thinking very deeply about how to do. And all of a sudden, the answer comes in the form of the appearance of the Lord. Brahma could never solve this situation himself. It would be impossible for him to bring that earth back into its orbit. Although he's powerful, he saw that it was beyond my ability, and therefore he knew that whenever Krishna is here, everything becomes auspicious. Everything becomes successful. Sometimes we use that saying when we talk about protection, Rakhe Krishna More Ke, More Krishna Rakhe Ke. That if Krishna wants to kill you, no one can do anything to protect you. And if Krishna wants to protect you, just to give you an example, this was a story I just recently heard from Naranjan Swami. He's talking about what's going on in the war in the Ukraine. So if Krishna wants to protect you, nothing can hurt. So there was one devotee. He was in the army. He was in the Hare Krishna. He was in the Ukraine army. Okay, Ukrainian army. Okay. This is signs of old age, you know. Those of you who don't believe the Bhagavatam, just read it again. It's got some... Yeah, so he was in the Ukrainian army, he was a soldier, and he would also try to encourage his fellow soldiers to take up Krishna consciousness. He was a devotee, serious devotee. But they weren't so much interested. So one day there was an air raid and they all had to go to the bunker. So he was there along with many of his fellow soldiers. And a missile came right into the bunker, and it landed on his shoe and didn't go off. Rakhe Krishna More Ke, More Krishna Rakhe Ke. So, and after the incident was cleared up, of course they left the bunker immediately. This missile never went off. Those soldiers who were his friends, they really got interested in Krishna consciousness. Now, there's different ways to preach. We don't recommend you join the army, but it's different ways to somehow convince others that Krishna consciousness is what you're looking for. So yeah, there's an example of how being a devotee, and obviously devotees depend on the Lord, especially if you're in a war, you're really going to depend on the Lord. I mean, Devaki, she was in a very, very difficult situation. She was imprisoned along with her husband and was being harassed by her brother, Kamsa. And then the children were coming, and Vasudeva was keeping his word and giving the children to Kamsa, and he was killing them one after another. As a mother, watching your children being destroyed, it probably would cause you to die. The emotional shock would be so much. But somehow or other Krishna protected her, and she tolerated it, but of course she was very, very suffering tremendously. But she had full faith in Krishna, and therefore Krishna ultimately protected her in that situation. And the same with Prahlād Maharaj. I mean, Prabhupada said, we should follow in the footsteps of Prahlād Maharaj, but don't try to imitate him. He says, don't jump in a bucket of hot oil and think Krishna will save you. It's not the idea. The idea is that whatever situation you may find yourself in due to normal activities, you can depend on Krishna in all situations. Now Krishna is there to protect his devotee. And Prabhupada's talking about this one, and he was saying, this was in 1972, he was giving a lecture on that verse in the first canto's 3rd chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Ete chamsam kalom pumsam Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. That of all of the incarnations and manifestations of the Godhead, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the original Adi Purush. So Prabhupada was talking in that verse, and he starts talking about how Krishna gives protection to everyone. And then he started to say, the demons, he's talking to his devotees, this is in Los Angeles. The demons are increasing, and they will continue to increase. Don't worry, Devaki was saved, Prahlād was saved, and Krishna will save you also. But you may find yourself in some difficulty. He said, if you find yourself in some difficulty, you can understand it simply because of the demons. Prabhupada said, Maya, she's our friend. We have no problem with Maya. Why? Because she always works to encourage or help and do things to increase the devotees' attachment, devotion to, dependence on Krishna. That's Maya. So Maya, she's working apparently to give you some difficulty, but it's all about making you Krishna conscious. But the demons, therefore Prabhupada, there's so much trouble in the world, he says, it's because of the demons. He says Maya has to serve the demons, and there's where all the problems in the world are coming from. Yeah, but he said, don't worry, Krishna will always protect you. And then what devotees said, well, Krishna hasn't come in this age, he's come in every, Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Yeah, Kali Kale, Nama Rupa, Krishna avatar. And he's descended in the form of his holy name. The holy name is the manifestation of Krishna in this age. And devotees just chant the holy name. And the holy name can free one from all dangers and give, not protection, but complete protection. There's many, many incidents, even in the society of ISKCON, where devotees have been in the most difficult situations. There were 2 devotees. They were sent to buy Prabhupada during the war in, where was it? It was in Bangladesh. This was in 1971. And the 2 devotees, 2 senior devotees, Brahmananda was one of them. I'm not sure who the other one was. Maybe Rameshwar remembers. I think it was either Pushta Krishna or it could have been his brother, Gargamuni. Gargamuni? Yeah. So, well, it's incidental, but still it was important. Prabhupada sent them to preach in that area, and a war was going on, and it was getting quite escalated. So Prabhupada was trying to reach them to bring them back, but the communication had broken down. And so Prabhupada was really praying for them. And then people who they were preaching to were saying, I think it's time for you to leave. It's getting really dangerous here. And the Islamic army they had a program that refugees, those who were not, Hindus, any refugees, could leave the country. And they were having buses. So these 2 sannyasis and got on the bus. But the bus got stopped at the border. And the Islamic army saw these two Hindus on them, took them off, and put them in front of a firing squad. These were two devotees. And so they're there, and Brahmananda, he's got his beads with him, so he holds his beads up in the air and he starts chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, we're going back to Godhead. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You know, completely bewildered the Islamic army. And the leader of the army said, all right, get on the bus and get out of here. So this is one of a large number of incidents where devotees have simply taken shelter of Krishna in dangerous situation. But here, it's not dangerous for Brahma, but for him, his service is at stake, and that's a big responsibility. So if he doesn't do his service, then the creation will not fully manifest according to how the Lord wanted it to. So he's concerned. So he's thinking, it's only by the will of the Lord, or even the presence of the Lord in this situation, that will actually make the difference. And so he prays to the Lord. So this is the I think we all know that. You know, all of us know that in every situation, whether it's, but sometimes people think, well, yes, we remember Krishna in danger. But Prabhupada said, you're always in danger. Padam padam ya vipadam. It's a very dangerous place. That at any time, anything can go wrong. Prabhupada was walking in one, where was that? It was in Denver, Colorado. And they were walking, there was a morning walk through one particular park. And Prabhupada all of a sudden stopped. He said, everything seems to be very nice here, very pleasant. But he said, this is the material world. Anything at any time, at any place can happen. And all of a sudden there could be blazing fire and this whole park could be burnt up. So this is the precarious nature of the material world. Of course, devotees are in Mayapur. It's not the material world. But we have to make sure we keep our consciousness in spiritual consciousness, so we don't bring in the material world through our consciousness. So the point is that depending on Krishna means depending on Krishna satatam, always, in all cases. And the easiest and most recommended way is to chant Hare Krishna. That's the easiest way. But sometimes, just like there was one time, one girl, she came to me, she said, Maharaj, this ghost, demon keeps harassing me, comes in my dreams at night, and he's just harassing me, and I wake up and I'm frightened, and I'm really scared. He comes every night. So I said, well, you start praying to Lord Nrsingadev. So she was praying to Lord Nrsingadev, and she came back to me and said it didn't work. He's still coming. Oh, I said, all right. Well, pray to Krishna. So she started praying to Krishna. Didn't work. And maybe her prayers weren't good enough. So then I thought, all right, pray to Prabhupada. So she prayed to Prabhupada. As soon as she prayed to Prabhupada, the ghost was gone. So that says something. That Prabhupada carries the full mercy of the Supreme Personality of God, and he's very eager to offer it. And Prabhupada would say one time, he said one time, one devotee came to him and said, Prabhupada, I have so many obstacles. Prabhupada said, you just come, and one kick of my boot, all obstacles gone. So yeah, if we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, of course that's his instructions, but also as a person who is there, just like we sing the Guru Puja, Haha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha Modi Parachaya. We sing that all the time. So what does that line mean? You're merciful, you're very merciful, but still I'm begging. Although you're merciful, and I know you're giving your mercy, still we have to show that we really want that mercy. So begging for the mercy, that's what that particular stanza and that prayer means. To cry out, to pray, please, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, give me your mercy. So that shows the sign of a serious devotee. And then devotee is never overcome, or what we say bewildered, by any of the, what we say, the workings of Maya. Because Maya is always there, always trying to give us trouble, or some difficulty, or some obstacle. Nowadays it's the demons. They've become very prominent and powerful in society now. And there's always making plans to cause trouble to everyone. And even devotees are being affected to some degree. So, and they have big plans to give more trouble to the world. That's their program. So, yeah, any questions, comments, dependence on Krishna? Any personal stories you'd like to illustrate? How somebody stole your maha and you got it back without, just by praying to Krishna. No.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the nice class. At the beginning you mentioned that we have to depend on Krishna, but we have to work like we depend on ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you work in that mindset and you achieve a little bit of success,
you get proud.
You get proud. How can we stop ourselves from understanding?
Well, the Bhagavad Gita mentions that in all endeavors of activity there is 5 factors of action. And the living entity, jiva, is just 1/5 of that 5. There is the endeavor, there is the time, place, and circumstance, there is the, what else? The senses, and also the supersoul. So if we think mistakenly that is because I did it, it happened, or I'm acting in this way, it happened, we're not seeing the whole picture. So even from the philosophical point of view, you can't make things happen unless there is a satisfactory or a favorable situation that surrounds. And those ingredients and the intelligence to carry it out also is not necessarily coming from you. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya-aham hṛdayāt visto mata smriti ajñānam apohanam cha. If you want knowledge, I give you. Remembrance comes from me, and forgetfulness is also. And then Krishna also says in another place, I am the ability in all living beings. So to take credit means to push Krishna out, or push out the mercy of Krishna. So we take it and we say, well, say someone gives you some praise. Well, it was really nice. You gave a nice class, you led a nice kirtan, devotees are happy and they're also, expressing their happiness. So, but in your heart you should be thinking, thank you, you give thanks, you give credit to your spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, to the assembly of devotees. And that way you're free from anxiety. As soon as you start taking credit, then you start moving into a type of mindset where when things don't go right, you blame others. Or you blame the situation. So, pride cometh before the fall. So it's there. That's why Lord Chaitanya says, Charnadapi sunichena tayorivasa hishnuna. Amaninam amanadena. Not to want anything for yourself. Devotee becomes happy and benefit simply by the opportunity to serve. Service is is our success. The more we can serve, the better we can serve. And that is our elevation in Krishna consciousness. Not so much the results. The results we offer to the Lord as an offering. So, to take credit, I mean, it's subtle, because the false ego will say, just like sometimes we say, we don't say this, but we might think of it, well, 90% glories to my spiritual master and 10% for me. I have to get something, I was in there too. So you may not take full credit, but you may take partial credit. But that's another anomaly, or anartha. Because everything is coming from the outside, all the mercy we need in order to execute Krishna consciousness. Just like I'm giving a class, but if there was nobody here, what can I do? I'm thinking I'm giving a class, well, it's because there's devotees here. Otherwise, if there's no devotees, what can the class giver do? There's no class. So everything, we don't really take credit for anything, because we know behind the scenes it's the mercy of the Lord, especially the mercy of the spiritual master. And when you take credit, you're building a type of consciousness that when things don't go your way, you become unhappy. But Krishna says, you have a right to perform your duty, but never consider yourself the cause of the results of activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So your right is to serve, and the benefit you get is from if Krishna is pleased by your service. So that's what we focus on, trying to please Krishna, or at least act in such a way that Krishna will be pleased. Does that make sense? Okay? Okay, thank you. Yes, question over there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. Maharaj, my question is there a connection between karma of the individual and the modes? When the modes, do they act based on the karma, or we can control the modes?
Could someone repeat it? There was too much background, I couldn't hear.
Are the modes based on our karma, or is it different?
The modes?
The modes of material nature,
yeah.
They act based on our karma, or is it separate, or can we control the modes, he's asking.
Well, if you're engaged in devotional service properly, that means body, mind, and words, you're above the modes. But if you're haven't reached that state of consciousness, you may be acting in the mode of goodness, which is favorable for devotional service. If you're attached to the results of your activities, then you're acting in the mode of passion, or it's tinged by the mode of passion. And if you're greedy for the results, then you're in the mode of ignorance, trying to become greedy to get the benefit of activity. That's the mode of ignorance, greed. So, but Bhagavatam explains in the 3rd canto, there is devotional service in the mode of goodness, devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of ignorance. That means devotional service is being affected, or slightly affected, by the qualities of these different modes. And that's based on our consciousness when we execute the activity. But if you depend on Krishna and work according to the instructions given by the spiritual master, then you're pretty much free from the effects of the modes. then that's offerable to Krishna. But there, we're still trying to fulfill material desires through devotional service, then the result is going to be mixed. It's not going to be just devotional service. It's going to be, it's called karma mishra bhakti, or jnana mishra bhakti.
Thanks, Maharaj, for your motivational lecture. Your dance and your lecture always motivate us. And I see last on Friday, when you start dancing in Ninja Swami Maharaj Kirtan, and everybody was dancing, and your words are always motivating. And today,
if I believe you, I'm in trouble. But thank you.
So Maharaj, my question, because as you mentioned in lecture that this Maya is our friend. So, but we, on other side, we always pray to the Lord that please protect us from your Maya. So like how we take this Maya, as a friend, or to protect us with this Maya?
Well, that's what Maya wants you to do. She wants you to ask Krishna for protection. That way she makes you more Krishna conscious. If you think you can protect yourself, then Maya is going to keep coming. That's the Maya wants us to become more dependent on the Lord. Any questions from the ladies' side? Yes, there's 2 questions over here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for such a wonderful class. Yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for such a wonderful class. Maharaj, you mentioned about developing faith. So can you please tell that what are the ways to develop faith so that we can increase our devotional service?
Faith comes by associating with devotees who have faith. That's one way. Faith comes by becoming knowledgeable in the process of Krishna consciousness, how it works. In other words, the philosophy also. In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 3, says there's 3 categories of faith. Very weak faith or slight faith. Prabhupada calls it first class, second class, and third class. Third class faith means if someone says something that is contrary to Krishna consciousness, you may, if your faith is weak or hasn't developed yet, you may accept that. That's third class. And by accepting that, you may also become less active in your devotional service. In other words, you become what's the word? Become taken away from devotional service by people who convince you otherwise. But then second class is when you run into that same situation, you're not going to stop devotional service, but you can't defeat the opponent because your knowledge is not developed enough. But you're not going to leave Krishna. And the highest form of faith is that you can defeat all opposing arguments and you're fixed in your... So these are 3 different levels of faith based on knowledge. Well, knowledge is fundamental to help to build our faith, but equally, or I would say even more important, is sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha is really association with devotees who are really fixed in their service. And hearing from them, asking questions, and if you get a chance to serve them, then that will also be, you'll receive the mercy. And that makes your faith stronger. Does that help?
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for this wonderful class. When you explain to us that devotee, even in difficulties, keeps the faith, we understand that we must follow the instructions, we must have faith. But when we see many wrong things happening around us, what should be our...
Don't worry about what's happening around you.
Okay.
Just focus on your... If we're too much observing and seeing what's wrong, we're not really focused on what we're supposed to be doing. Once in a while something may appear and we become a little bit discouraged or we become a little unhappy. But if that's our consciousness, to see what's going on that's not right, that means you're not serving, your consciousness is not there. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Unless that's your students. If it's your students, you do that. If you have to teach, then it becomes a service responsibility.
Okay.
But in general...
Thank you.
There was a question over here somewhere. But what Rameshwar Prabhu was saying is that, keep yourself engaged nicely. Stay off the internet.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for this class. Maharaj, 2 years ago you were in Pune and you were giving a lecture on how to increase dependence on Krishna. And you said that one should always feel that Srila Prabhupada is constantly here in our lives. And Maharaj, His Grace Prithu Prabhuji was sharing a pastime when Srila Prabhupada read Krishna book for you when you were reading Krishna book.
That one, yeah.
And how can we have this level of connection with Srila Prabhupada, that because we do not have this this level of connection with Srila Prabhupada, we lack in so many things and our faith also gets shaken. So
Prabhupada wanted to straighten me out, that's all. So that was something I needed to be convinced, so he convinced me. So if you need to be convinced, Krishna will send some mercy in one form or another. So, but that's there for everyone. Mercy's there. If you're engaged in devotional service, then Krishna will guide you in different ways, through either directly within the heart or through the external energy, but usually different devotees or situations or something. Krishna is always working through his energies to somehow or other encourage the devotee to move in the right direction. He's there constantly, not just occasionally, constantly. Yeah. If you're a little perceptive, you can see when things go wrong. And Krishna's there to show you, oh, this was the wrong thing. Okay? Does that help? Is that Gandharva? Gandharvika? Okay. Gandhari. Okay, yes, sorry.
I claim to disagree with the Prabhu who spoke last, that we don't have the same connection like you did with Srila Prabhupada. Actually, if you sincerely pray, Srila Prabhupada is right there.
Yeah.
Not only he comes, but he actually sends you the help that you need. So I have personal experiences on that. So
Thank you. Yeah, sincere prayer is what it takes. Okay, we have one more question.
I just wanted to add to what this dear Mataji said. I have a note written by Srila Prabhupada in his personal written note with his lotus hands. And in that note, he was talking about how pleased he is with the book distribution, but his Guru Maharaj will be pleased 1,000 times more than me, and that is my satisfaction. So
wow.
You can just imagine, if you're not directly like initiated by Srila Prabhupada, you're the next generation. This is thousands of times more Prabhupada as your spiritual grandfather will give you blessings. There's no question about not feeling Prabhupada.
Nice. And there is a statement that says, the grandfather is more kinder than the father. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Dinabandhu tells a story, it's a long story, which illustrates that point. I don't think we have time for that story, but the point is, the Param Guru is extremely merciful. Yes, there's some question there.
Krishna Maharaj, Dhanapranam. Maharaj, we have to work also, and also we have to be dependent on Krishna, and we have to also endeavor. So how to define the margin that we are not doing extra endeavor in the service or in our material life? How to define extra endeavor and the right endeavors?
How do we manage to...
Extra endeavor?
Over endeavor and proper endeavor. How do we differentiate over endeavoring and right endeavor? Like we have to endeavor but depend on Krishna.
Over endeavoring really comes by way of trying to gain something for your own personal benefit. And devotees work hard in Krishna consciousness. That's not over endeavoring. But say you have a particular service and it's not working, and you keep trying to make it work and it doesn't work. So you might reflect that maybe I should approach it in a different way. To continue to go in the same direction and not have any, and things are not working accordingly, then you might reflect on that. That could all be over endeavor. But over endeavor means to simply, right endeavor means to simply depend on Krishna. Over endeavor means that I'm the doer and I'm going to make it happen. To think like that. But still, we have to work with our utmost capacity. Whatever abilities, whatever energies we have, we should use them. But that's not over endeavor. Yeah, that's one of the, Rupa Goswami mentions that in Nectar Instructions, one of the fall downs in Krishna consciousness, to over endeavor for mundane things. Prayasa. Okay, so thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.